Your first team building challenge is to chat from A to Z, one letter at a time. Now, you can't chat twice in a row. So Robert, you can't go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, and try and hit return. Okay, Robert? One letter at a time. Now, if it goes A, B, D, you have to start over. Okay, Heather? And if you go, Teresa, if you go A, B, C, C, that is not stuttering. That is incorrect. You repeated a letter, so you have to start over. While you're chatting A to Z, can't talk. www.zipit.com. But if you missed a letter or repeated a letter, you can talk until someone chats A. Does anybody have any questions about the rules? If you do, you can unmute and just ask me now. No questions? So Zoe and Debbie Ann, if you can get a timer out and make sure and hit reset every time you see the letter A. Thank you so much. Okay, let us begin. Merlin says A, Vicky says B, Julie says C, and Brent says C. It's time to start over. Angela says A, Christine says A, Merlin says A. Merlin doesn't just say A, he says A. Julie's, what's the order? Oh my goodness, I gotta reset. Teresa says B, Christine says A. A, B, C, D, E, E, E. Okay, Laura E, Teresa E. Vicky A, Teresa B. Teresa C. Teresa, you can't go twice. I already told you that. Stop that. Restart. Vicky A. Teresa, oh, sorry. Teresa B. Angela C. Christine D. Oh my gosh, Sophia's coming in. Heather E. Jega F. Oh, there's two D's here though. Merlin D and Christine D. You guys have to start over. Annette A. Vicky A. Hey. Teresa B. Ishvinder B. Start over, please. Merlin, Vicky, Merlin A. 3 A's. Christine B. Angela C. Ishvinder D. Okay, Teresa D. All right, I'm going to help you out for a second here. I'm going to pause you for a second. Would you like to see the rules again? I see laughs, but no head nod. Oh, yeah, Jega says yes. Okay, Jega, the gamer, says yes. Chat A to Z, one letter at a time. You cannot chat twice in a row. Restart if you missed a repeated letter. You can't talk during A to Z. But if you missed a letter, you can talk until someone chats A. You can talk until someone chats A. Are we rules challenged, said Teresa. Okay, you have two repeated letters. Jega and Christine repeated F. If somebody doesn't type A, you can talk. Would you like to talk now? If you do, just unmute.
Am I allowed?
Yeah, you repeated a letter according to the rules, Vicky.
No, I listened to you yesterday.
I know. Oh, yeah, you did. That's right. Oh, are you allowed? Yeah, you're allowed to talk. You just can't say certain things.
Okay.
Who else would like to talk?
I can talk.
Okay, go Brent.
Okay, why don't we just do this? Just pick two people. They alternate between letters A, B, C, D, all the way through the alphabet. So who wants to do it? Need two people. Okay, Robert and one other person. Anyone else? Okay, Robert and Vicky. So Robert, you're going to start with an A. Vicky, you do B. Robert, you do C. Vicky, you do D, and go. And no one else do anything else.
Oh,
So Robert, you start with an A.
sorry. I had mine set for private on Robert.
I see. Passing notes in the class, Vicky. I see you too. But I don't see anything going on in the chat.
Okay, Robert, you're going to hit A, right? To everybody? And once you hit A, we can't say anything.
I think he might be private too.
You better help him out.
Okay, we better chat to everyone. Do you see where the 2 button? There we
All right.
Okay, you good, Robert? And we got Vicky's good?
Yes.
Okay, so Robert, you're going to start with A, then Vicky, you do B, then Robert, you do C, and see if we can make it all the way. Alternate between 2 people. Everyone else just watches.
Vicky's out of order. She said B.
Why does mine revert back to Robert for private?
Because it will revert to him by default if he private chats you.
Okay, so let's rather than me going in each time, let me back out and somebody else do it.
I think, Robert, you're on private chat.
How do I change that?
Go
In the
down.
bottom, oh, go ahead. In the bottom of the chat box, you'll see the 2, and there'll be a drop-down button probably, and you just click it, and you select everyone. I don't know if you can see that.
No.
Brent, you'll love this too, which is Parks and Recs technically can't use Zoom for their interdepartmental meetings. They only use Teams.
Oh, and Skype.
And Skype.
We're not allowed to use Zoom either at Sound Physician, so.
See?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to opt out because I don't see that.
Okay, another volunteer. Okay, we got Annette. So Annette and Vicky, you guys are on. Annette, you're going to start with an A. Vicky, you're going to go to B, then go back and forth. Hope you know the alphabet. Okay, we have.
Okay, Annette A, shh. Vicky B, Annette C, Vicky D, Annette E, Vicky F, Annette G, Vicky H, Annette I, Vicky G.
Because I was listening to you, John Chen. Hey, recreation. It's playing games all day, right? In my day, we didn't have to learn the alphabet. What can I say?
Annette is chatted A, please. Annette is chatted A. Vicky B, Annette C. I have to do this for the other people on Facebook Live because they can't see the chat. Vicky D, Annette E, Vicky F, Annette G, Vicky H, Annette I, Vicky J, Annette K, Vicky L, Annette M. It's all John's fault. Vicky N, Annette O, Vicky P, Annette Q, Vicky R, Annette S, Vicky T, Annette U, Vicky V, Annette W, Vicky X, Annette Y, Vicky Z. Oh, all right. Excellent. Yeah, Debbie, wait for the time. I'll ask you for the time mark in just a minute. Let's go ahead. I'll unmute. So one of the other things that I want to talk to you about is what I call the best thing in team building is self-facilitation, right? So I'm just going to ask 3 questions here. And this is one of the ways for you to get the greatest team value out of this exercise is just to take the time to facilitate it. And it starts as easy as what, so what, and now what? I'll say it again. What, so what, and now what? So I'm just going to ask one person, what just happened here? Anybody, especially somebody from the outside who is not involved. You have the greatest opportunity to observe. Please raise your hand and tell me, what did you see that happened? Let's go to Jaga.
I think what happened was we went on an assumption that things has to be done in a certain way until we found that the assumption was not correct. And then we realized that there was more flexibility when we were not stuck to the assumption.
Assumptions, right? And you know about assumptions, what we like to say about them here in America, right? Is I'm not going to repeat it because I'm on Facebook Live. But anyways, so that's correct, Jacob.
Yeah, it makes enough of you and me, right?
Even the thing that I know Merle put on there, he was in the chat room and he's like, can we just go in the order in the screen? And you need to know, Zoom specifically does not put you in the same order. I see Zoe, me, and Debbie, right? Christine and Melissa. You probably don't see that on the top row, but that's mine. All right. And so you can't go under that assumption. You have to know what you can assume and what not to assume so that you can build trust inside of the technology. Thank you, Jaga. So the next question, what? So what did this exercise mean to you? What did you learn? Anybody? Go ahead and raise your hand, please. Anybody but Jaga. Okay, let's go to Christine. Remember to unmute.
Communication. We were not getting anywhere until we went back, looked at the rules, and realized when we can communicate. And without communication, we would still be lost.
The record for the longest time is 10 minutes and 35 seconds. That team never established an order or a system. They got lucky. But wow. I sat here like this on the mic going, do, 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 waiting for someone to chat and not chat over each other. So you nailed it, Christine. Right? So what, and now what? So Robert, answer the last question, which is now what? Now, what would you do different in a meeting now knowing what you know? So Robert, go ahead. And if you don't want to answer that question, you can pass. There you go. You're unmuted. Perfect.
I guess what I would do differently is explore the technology so that I actually know how to chat to everyone, which I just figured out. So thank you guys. So knowing the technology and being well-versed in that so that that doesn't hold us back or myself. And then, yeah, maybe I have this thing where I had a concept of how to solve the problem, but I was really reluctant. So I gotta work on that, because jumping in, I have hangups of like, if I jump in and that's not well received, or if it doesn't work, it's like there's ego tied into that. And so, and it was cool to see that Brent stepped up and his idea of solving the problem was completely different than the idea, you know, what I was thinking. So
two pieces here. Let me just check in. Did all of you buy into Brent's idea? Right? If you did, raise your hand. See, I'm cool with Brent's idea, right? Because let me tell you, right, Robert, number one, the thing that you got, if you come to my second level class, I'll start to talk about it, is what we call, the thing that I'm actually building here that you cannot see at all is psychological safety. Psychological safety is creating an environment where you feel safe enough to share your idea, right? Even if it gets shot down or it doesn't work. And by the way, we all need to fail faster here in Corona land because nobody knows how anything works, right? And so that if you are a leader or a facilitator of a meeting, you should think about, how can I create psychological safety in this box? If your introverts are not talking, it's because they don't feel safe. Google did the research on Teams. Top 5 factors, one of them is psychological safety. And if you can create it, you can create virtual gold. So thank you so much for that, Robert.